Hello, my name is Vinyals, and I was the project lead of AlphaStar. Today, I am joined by Wojtek, who was one of the researchers working on the project, and we're here to represent the team and answer some excellent questions that you all have been wondering about. First and foremost, thank you so much, LaughNgamez, for your Starcraft content and, of course, for your coverage on AlphaStar. The team really has enjoyed watching the community reaction to the project and your channel in particular. Since most of you have asked questions about why does AlphaStar do certain things in certain occasions, I thought it would be useful to remind from a bird's eye view perspective how AlphaStar works. AlphaStar, first and foremost, imitates clicks or actions from a large database of games that Blizzard anonymously collects. Our agent is trying to guess, after seeing what happened in the game, what would that player do next? Move the camera, build a probe, retreat the units. So instead of writing a program with lots of conditions, if I see invisible units, build a detector, we instead train a very flexible model, AlphaStar, the agent, to imitate human moves as best as possible. With human players, it is possible to ask them about their thinking and decisions, to understand why they did this or that, something we aren't yet able to do with AlphaStar. Nevertheless, AlphaStar often plays and feels like a human. We tried our best in our answers to convey both why AlphaStar might be doing certain things and also how AlphaStar learns in more detail in your questions to both refresh how AlphaStar was created and to try to pinpoint possible reasons why it might be doing what it does by sharing our own insights on how imitation learning and reinforcement learning work. Last but not least, many of you are wondering what happens after our publication was featured in the prestigious Nature magazine. It was really cool to see Starcraft on the cover of Nature, by the way. Go and check the art that was prepared for the paper. So right now we're using Starcraft to inform and test our latest algorithms. So keep an eye for publications that use this amazing game as a testbed, and also excited about what other labs have been doing on this space. Good luck and have fun.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for some more AlphaStar content. We have got ourselves AlphaStar taking on AlphaStar. Before jumping right into the cast, because this is something we're going to want to pay a lot of attention to, I'm going to give big thanks to the AlphaStar team, and big thanks to Oriel and Wojtek for answering some questions on AlphaStar. And those are actually going to be at the end of this cast, at the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned and see some questions that you guys actually asked being answered directly by the AlphaStar team. And that is just frankly awesome. So yes, let's jump on into it. So for our first AlphaStar versus AlphaStar cast, we are going to be doing a Protoss versus Protoss. We've got 2 of those replays to cast for PvP, and then 1 for every other matchup. So we're actually going to see every AlphaStar, or every race of AlphaStar, play every AlphaStar. Or playing the other race, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so we're on the map King's Cove. Instead of just tripping over myself a bunch while casting this and going AlphaStar attacking AlphaStar, I'm just gonna refer to these agents as in their name, number 1 and number 2. Agent 1, Agent 2. So, King's Cove for a PvP. It's been a while since I've cast some of these AlphaStar games. I did go back and look at a few of them, and then of course you guys are still leaving comments on some of the videos. Still say, "Oh yeah, that was a wacky game." When one of you guys leaves a comment, but PvP, yeah, let's just see where this is gonna go. How these 2 agents are gonna differ from each other. Where the diversity in their play is gonna come from. So we take a look. We've got standard PvP openers for this patch. Gateway wall off, gateway wall off. by AlphaStar. And then, yeah, just getting up the Cybercore. So very mirrored builds for starters here. Pretty much mirrored to a T. And so, yeah, we'll see where this game's going to develop here for AlphaStar taking on AlphaStar. I mean, if these are two identical agents, which question I should have asked, I admit, for these two playing each other, that means that in theory they'll open up the exact same way until, I guess, I don't know exactly how the details on that would work if you pitch the same agent against the same agent. I guess at some point in the diversity in the game would have to come from the RNG that's in Starcraft. So yeah, Stargate on the way for both of these agents, and we are seeing that they're identical here. Although there's already a little bit of variation with just ever so slightly. This one agent, number 1, going for an extra probe before the warp gate research, whereas number 2 did not. Why that happened? That's a good question. But before this game really starts to heat up, which I'm sure it will between these two agents, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button for old time's sake. Let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. That would be truly amazing if we can do that. And then, of course, make sure to stay tuned to the end to see some of the questions you guys asked answered. There'll be a few questions getting answered at the end of all of the casts that I do. So basically, an AlphaStar bonus there, or not even a bonus, an AlphaStar awesome. I don't know, as just the fact that we did have some questions asked by the AlphaStar community getting answered by the AlphaStar team is truly amazing. So far, we've got some adepts harassing the red agent's mineral line, getting a few probes killed off there. 4 probes for 2 adepts, as both agents have gone for 4 adepts themselves. The blue agent was opting to be more aggressive here. Now going to be on the defensive side, as of course it lost 2 adepts. It killed 4 workers, which is debatable. I don't think that was too much damage. Now we'll take a look here. We see Phoenixes being produced for both these agents. We all know how Phoenix versus Phoenix wars can go in a regular StarCraft 2 match. How they'll go when it's AlphaStar taking on AlphaStar, I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. Small supply block by the blue agent. Just gonna have these Phoenix, though, to help deal with the attacking adepts from agent number 1. However, might be a little bit outgunned in its own base. Probes being pulled. The Phoenix do end up winning for the blue agent, and actually resets the Phoenix count, or kills 2 of the Phoenix of agent number 1. Already so much chaos going on. So that really puts AlphaStar agent number 1 on the back foot here of this Phoenix versus Phoenix war. Gonna develop, got a couple of stalkers now, so there is already some diversity here. As far as the agents go, we can see the reaction from the red agent on losing its Phoenix to have a couple stalkers, whereas the blue agent, which presumably still has full air control, is actually just continuing on. Was there some odd lifting going on there that I missed? But yeah, actually just forgoing any sort of ground to air attack, because obviously it's going to have the lead in the Phoenix count. So, another thing to keep in mind as far as these games go is that I was told AlphaStar agents don't GG against each other. They will not leave the game when they think it's over, or they won't even bother to check when it's over. So it is full elimination, these games, all the buildings being killed off, which may give us some time to reflect on the game. We take a look, no shield battery or anything for the red agent. These stalkers are not a match on their own for the Phoenix, and there's simply not enough Phoenix here for the red AlphaStar. A couple more stalkers do come down, so stalkers against adepts and Phoenixes is it all depends how many lifts there are for the blue Phoenix. Probes are, however, having to run, and the red agent does seem to be on the back foot this game. The adepts, of course, can't take the stalkers in a fight, so in theory AlphaStar can, or in theory the red AlphaStar can hold on here against this force of the blue and not actually be killed, but the worker losses have already happened, and the chance of catching up in the Phoenix versus Phoenix war is just not there. So we may see this red AlphaStar, if it survives, transition into Blink, but the economy is already hurting quite a great deal. The shades of the blue agent are forcing a reaction from the red agent, making it so that it's basically just got to keep backing up. All the while, the red agent has now started a Blink, so going to be going heavy into stalkers. This is the most sensible choice when you've lost the Phoenix versus Phoenix War. Still, though, not going to be an easy spot here for the Red Agent to come back, and we'll see. Our comeback's going to be common in AlphaStar against AlphaStar. That will remain to be seen. One Phoenix is in the mineral line, but that one Phoenix is not going to cut it against, or that one Stalker's not going to cut it against all these Phoenix. Here come in the rest of the Stalkers. Some of the Adepts did shade in. Actually, all the Adepts shaded in. The Phoenix are coming in now. Going to lift up some of the Stalkers. Probes being pulled into the fight. Stalkers are targeting down some of the Phoenix, but all the while, a lot of workers have been killed off, and it is just a disastrous position for Agent number 1 here. More and more probes going down, no mining at its natural base, all the while the Blue Agent still just mining, full swing, getting up a robo behind this, and yeah, just in a great spot. So we're gonna have to see if the AlphaStar Blink magic is gonna be effective against another AlphaStar. There's a possibility, because Phoenix do fall off in a game of Starcraft 2, but still, the lead for the Blue Agent is quite huge. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this game develops. So far, though, it's just been very, very tough for the Red Agent. Chasing the Phoenix away once again, but barely mining at its natural. And, yes. Let's take a look here. The third base is now up for or now going up for the Blue Agent. And, yeah, very, very tough spot for Agent number 1. Blink is there, though, but then we see lots of gateways going up for Agent number 2. A Chrono being dumped into this Robo, now an Immortal being produced. That is really, really going to make things more difficult for the Red Agent. Almost impossible to come back. Blink is on cooldown for these Stalkers. Will they blink to try and get the Phoenix? Not yet. Still just trying to secure this natural. There we go. First Blink going to start punishing these Phoenix, but now we see Adept shading into the main base of the Red Agent. These Stalkers should be able to pounce on the Adept with the Blink, but then of course the Phoenix coming into the natural can always kill probes. They're actually going to go into the main base. An interesting choice by the Phoenix. Not actually just attacking the easy picking probes at the natural base. Let's see if there's going to be some lifted up. Not just yet. There's one lifted up, but then the Stalkers do blink. A Phoenix goes down. It's just still such a disastrous position for Agent number 1. And I'm not sure where the game's going to go from here, but AlphaStar, even against itself, looking pretty flawless for the Blue Agent. The transition is in full swing. There's no derp or anything here going on as far as, let's say, if it just kept pumping out Phoenix and Adepts, yeah, you could probably lose the game, but with Charge and Immortals on the way, it's not feeling so good for the Red Agent. Never say never, as the natural base is finally starting to mine at a decent rate, as the main's starting to mine out. But yeah, Charge lots, Immortals, going to be going up against Blink Stalkers. They are AlphaStar's Blink Stalkers, but of course, this is not, I believe, these are AlphaStar games, which the Agent is limited on its APM, so it's not going to microvac the Stalkers individually perfectly. We're going to be seeing an attack now by the Blue Agent, just looking for a kill move, although the Stalkers for the Red Agent are crossing the map. This could potentially mess with the head of the Blue Agent a little bit, and all of a sudden we do see these Stalkers now show up. They're going to be able to start fighting against these Zealots. Injured Stalkers blink back. There's no charge for the Zealots just yet. And the Blue Agent, yeah, getting pulled back a little bit. A little bit of derpage going on there. Third base is going up for the Red Agent, so really buying itself some time. We'll see if there's going to be a recall or any play like that. An Immortal is out for the Blue Agent, but it gets blinked on. It's going to be getting picked off. The rest of the army is here for the Blue Agent, but it turns around once again. Lots of indecision here. Zealots, however, counterattacking for the Blue Agent, just slaughtering the probes of the Red Agent, which does not have a lot to lose. Stalkers are potentially going to pick off this third base, but the army is just so huge for the Blue Agent, and unless there's some catastrophic mistake, things will eventually just equate to a victory for the Blue Agent. The Stalkers getting lifted up by the Phoenix. There we go. No retreat for them. That's the beauty of Phoenix, preventing any retreat. The Stalker's going to get popped off. And with that, I think it is done and dusted for the Red Agent in our first AlphaStar versus AlphaStar cast. This was an exciting game to watch. The Red Agent really just fell behind recalls, or tried to recall its one Stalker there. Yeah, the Red Agent just fell behind at the start. For some reason, blue probes are over in the base of the Red AlphaStar. Don't ask me why that is. Maybe that is base trade behavior or something. In which is, yeah, run the probes away. But yes. Now we'll take a look and just wait for the blue agent to basically finish murking the red one. Stalker's good, but not when there's this many charge lots. It's gonna try though. AlphaStar can try. But yeah, of course, ladies and gentlemen, leave any questions or comments you've got in the description of this, or in the comments of this video. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. I'll try and put up more content beyond this AlphaStar stuff. And then, yeah, make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video so you can see some of these questions get answered. Okay. Yeah, the red agent just staying alive, not knowing it's dead. The blue agent's just playing it safe, not going for the kill just yet. The Phoenix have been pretty darn good for the blue agent. Yeah. I did like to see the adaptability of the red AlphaStar upon making the poor choice to lose its Phoenix in that initial attack. It then said, yeah, okay, I can't go Phoenix, so I gotta go Stalkers. But then in the end, it was just a little too far behind. All the while, we've got the blue agent double expanding, retaking these bases. Even getting up a cannon, which is cool to see. Potential counter to DTs there. And yeah, really, really exciting stuff. Red AlphaStar just killing in its main base. Like, yeah, Sentry is a good idea. I got lots of gas. At some point, the blue one will go for the kill. Just gotta be sure, though. Okay. Wow, how about this? Another exciting thing was in that intro there that they did mention that there might be some more AlphaStar details, not new content, but details posted. And yeah, make sure to check out that artwork as mentioned. Okay, looks like the red agent's gonna go meet its fate. Finds a pylon. Alright, that's a pylon. That's a solid W right there. Making more probes, chrono boosting them out. Good to see it's not sleeping on that. All the while the blue agent just, yeah, not used to this point in the game, just chilling out. Stalkers moving on out. Both AlphaStars now have Blink though, so AlphaStar Blink versus Blink. And yeah, pretty standard AlphaStar play, just the follow-up and everything. Of course, the human would have GG'd out by now. But AlphaStar doesn't do that. That behavior wasn't added till it was added into the ladder, of course, for convenience sake, so that it wasn't just always lifting its buildings off and such. Although apparently the Terran agent, I believe, was said at some point does just lift its buildings off. And that, yeah, as per one of the questions, that it actually had big success with that in the internal ladder at some point. Everything is now going to be dying. We're agent number 1, and then we'll get into some of those questions.
Question is, why does AlphaStar Terran sometimes lifts its building in order to place the atom instead of doing this in place? So there are two separate actions to do this, right? You can either have, say, your barracks or factory in place and then you put a tech lab or reactor next to it, or you can lift it up and then land it in a new location where you're going to build an atom. And arguably, during the imitation phase, so when we just look at human games, Building an add-on in place rarely fails, right? The human would rarely execute an action to attach an add-on when there is a unit or another building blocking it, right? It essentially never happens. However, from time to time, they will try to execute this action of landing a building with an add-on attached in the place where it's not possible to do so because there's some other unit or something like this. So it's probable that during the imitation phase, AlphaStar developed this sort of causal relationship, or to put it more simply, that it's more probable for the action to lift up and then land it with a new add-on to be successful than it is to do so in place. Okay, so of course there is no tactical advantage of doing so. If anything, it just costs time. However, because initially it might just be easier to do this successfully, this is what after imitation phase AlphaStar might prefer. With enough training, it should discover that this is not a preferred approach and abandon it. But it seems like with the amount of training that it had, with the opponents that it faced, the improvement of this behavior was simply not important enough for it to occur. Why does AlphaStar sometimes make two copies of the same tech building, such as Hydra? Again, there are a few possible explanations, one of which comes from how reinforcement learning works. So imagine that AlphaStar is currently revisiting a build that it initially learned. So during the imitation phase or during reinforcement learning phase, it developed a build where these two copies of a tech building were actually important, needed. Right? For example, to do some sort of really crazy fast upgrades for Hydras. If a human decides that at some point this build is no longer viable and decides to abandon this sort of double upgrades, they can make a quick causal jump and say, okay, I don't need these two upgrades, so I don't need to buy them, but I also don't need two tech buildings. The way reinforcement learning works requires this sort of to happen in two stages. First, agent that was already, say, used to building these two tech buildings and having two upgrades in parallel will experiment with not buying second upgrade, right? So we only utilize one of the tech buildings. And it will probably see an improvement in its play. So you will be sometimes observing the agent in this mid stage where it still has two tech buildings, but only one upgrade is actually being researched. Eventually, of course, it should now discover that the second building is not needed either. But there's this crucial difference between causal reasoning that humans are really good at, where we do these jumps, right? We don't adapt, we don't improve step by step. We try to cut as much as possible in a single step. With the current reinforcement learning algorithms, this is simply not the case, and learning progresses in more of a sequential manner, where small adjustments are made throughout time. So one explanation of this specific behavior of AlphaStar is that it's currently going through exactly this process. Another would be that it actually faced opponents that try to snipe these specific tech buildings, and so having multiple copies made it more robust against these sort of very specific strategies.